What is good? What is good? What is good? What is good? Happy weekend, everybody. Happy Easter weekend to all of you guys in the chat. How is everybody doing? I am here. We are here to look at this base defense, this nickel defense. We're looking at all this kind of stuff, but we're focusing on the front seven. And with that being said, I have to give some shout outs to everybody who's already in the building. We got Blue King says, yo, what's up? What's cracking? SVT, Mr. Raider, Renato, Van City was popping with everybody that's already in the chat. Hope everybody's having a fantastic weekend so far. But like I said, we got Tony in the building as well. Like I said, today we're going to be focusing on that front seven, right? The Raiders have made some acquisitions so far, you know, the big one being Chandler Jones, and then we got the Kyler Fackrells, the Bilal Nichols, and we got all these guys, right? So I'm putting this all on the screen so that you guys can see what this front seven will look like under Patrick Graham, right? So I'm putting a 4-2-5, a nickel defense look. I'm putting up a base 3-4 look so that you can kind of see the best of both worlds, different players, and just all around. We're going to show you some things and what it'll look like. And shout out to everybody who's already pulling up. We got Richard, we got King, we got Raiders for Life, Meat Monster was popping, Raider Bear. Shout out to everybody already in here. But now that we got 50 y'all in the building, at least I am going to say, you know what? Let's get into it. Let's get into it. And yes, shout out to everybody who's in the chat. Shout out to my guy Richard. Raiders for Life says, do you think we need to go right tackle more importantly than another wide receiver at any point? Yes. Short answer is yes, especially with a great talent like Darrell Williams being out there. Salute to Anthony Estrada. What's up, BB? Was cracking. Marvin Lewis. We're gonna read this before we get into this into these looks, right? Because I got us something for you guys to look at here. So I got it all set up. Shout out to Marvin. He says, what's good, Andy? I was wondering if you and the rest of the Mount Shieldmore could give your thoughts on Mitchell Wren's video of 5 trade ideas the Raiders could move up into the first 2 rounds. I did not check out that video. I would probably have to check out that vid. Shout out to my guy Marvin Lewis. I'm not sure if we'll be able to do that, but I mean, I think that the next time that we're on live, if it's brought up again, we could do that. We could do that most definitely. I'm not sure about making a video specifically on there, but we can most definitely do that, Marvin Lewis. And a matter of fact, I'm gonna keep that comment. I'm gonna put it in the little banner section so I can remember that next time I go live. Shout out to ONT. He says Raiders. Simple as that. Simple as that. But you know what? Let's get straight into it, you guys. I want you guys to check this out. Now, first up on the screen is the Raiders base 3-4 run defense package. This is what I think the best 7 guys in that front 7 should be able to do and have some big success against stopping the run. You know, we're playing teams like being in the AFC, we have the run heavy teams like the Browns, the Titans, the Colts, these teams that really put their first foot forward being the run. Like, they want to run. They want to kill you guys. So this is just something for you guys to look at. As you can see, I got most of the subs right here for you guys to see. We got Deshaun Bowers, Kyler Fackrell, Jayon Brown, Micah Kaiser, Bilal Nichols, Kyle Pico, and Malcolm Koonce. Those are the guys that I feel like will rotate in a lot with this. Now, I know some of you guys aren't the highest on Jonathan Abram, but what I will say is that if we are going to be selling out against the run when we're playing teams like Tennessee Titans, because we play them this year, when we're going to be playing those teams, I will tell you guys one thing. If Jonathan Abram is healthy, he will be in the box, and he will most likely be playing this weak side linebacker. And the reason why I say that is pretty simple. Jonathan Abram, if you're going to put him up against a tight end, or if you're going to put him up against a wide receiver, he's going to bully that person. He is not going to allow them to stay on him. We've seen this man truck offensive linemen to make a tackle on the screen. Jonathan Abram will be playing in our base run defense, in my opinion, and that's why I put him on the screen. But as you can see, I have some roles and I have some, rules of what I feel and what the Raiders players will be doing. Now, as you can see, you have Chandler Jones here. His job here is to set the edge, along with Jonathan Abram. Now, with Cleveland Furrow being on here, I know some people would have wanted Bilal Nichols, but I do think that as of today, Clelin Ferrell is the stronger run stopper. So this is why I put Clelin Ferrell in our run defense package. You have to have Maxx Crosby. And obviously, if you're looking to stop the run, you have to have Jonathan Hankins. Now, let me explain this a little bit, right? So starting off with Clelin Ferrell, I have him as just clean, easy gap control, right? And the reason why it's just gap control is because, as you can see, these two arrows showing by Divine Diablo and this arrow also showing from Denzel Perryman, these guys, these linebackers are going to clean up whatever mess is left behind. Now, if Clelin Ferrell decides, you know what, I'm going to take on this B gap and I'm going to close it, that means that you're allowing Jonathan Hankins to have his two gap control being the A gap, right? The A gap is the gap between the center and the guard. Jonathan Hankins would have to be responsible for both of those, right? But it'll be pretty hard, right? So that's why he'll have help from Divine Diablo. He'll also have help from mean run stopper Denzel Perryman. And Maxx Crosby, you know him. He's going to do his job. He also has his gap control assignment, making sure that nothing is coming through that B gap. Nothing is getting to the second level to Denzel Perryman or Divine Diablo, right? So you got to make sure that everything here is clean. It's straightforward. These guys won't get too confused. And overall, it'll be simple for the Raiders to stop the run, right? I think we also play the 49ers this season. You could see it switch a little bit when we play teams like the Niners that like to run outside zones. You could see my guy Clelin Ferrell here, you could see him try and kick in, and you could give the responsibility of the B gaps to the linebackers. That'll be a little bit more faster and be able to react a little bit quicker, right? But that's all when it comes down the line. Now, the next up on this list here, this is the run defense, and this right here is when we go into our classic nickel defense. This is what I feel like the front seven will look like, right? And some of you guys may be confused on why Nate Hobbs is there. Well, Nate Hobbs is there because he's the slot corner. The slot corner, he's in all the action when it comes to this nickel defense. So he has to be there. He has to be there. But this is what it looks like when they're doing their pass coverage. You got Jayon Brown and Divine Diablo in the hook to curl. Some people may be asking, well, why isn't Denzel Perryman there? Well, when we're doing in this nickel defense, we're saying the team's going to have to pass a lot, right? And if the team is passing a lot, you want to have your best pass coverage linebackers. In my opinion, that goes to Divine Diablo and Jayon Brown. So you have to put those guys out there. They're locking down the middle of the field. This hook to curl, there's no business going around them. And then simple as that, right? When you're doing your pass rush and all this kind of stuff, your two defensive ends have a lot of responsibility, right? When we play Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, these guys are going to have the onus of not allowing Patrick Mahomes and these guys to break contain. So defensive end Maxx Crosby and Chandler Jones will have big responsibilities right now. They're going to be that contain. They're going to be playing that C gap. It's pretty simple, right? They're going to have to rush, but they're going to have to rush on the outside. Now, when it comes down to Bilal Nichols here, he's not going to be playing like he was playing in the other setup where he has to be that 5 technique, right? So he's a little bit closer inside. He's playing that 3 technique, but he's still dominating that B gap. We want to make sure that nothing comes up in that B gap. And if it does, you have Jayon Brown that can come down if it's a run and stop that thing. You know what I'm saying? Now you have Jonathan Hankins. He's kind of like the anchor of this defense. He has to be here on basically any freaking setup, in my opinion. You have to be there in almost every setup. Now, it's pretty simple. He's that nose tackle, so he's going to be taking care of that A gap on the left side. So it's interesting, right? You have to have a guy like Hankins just be able to maul the entire game, and then you have Divine Diablo backing him up. So it's pretty simple. It's nothing too crazy. It's nothing too like hard to process or anything like that. But it's simple. You have to do it right. You have to play it fast, and you have to be consistent, right? Because let's say Maxx Crosby decides, you know what, I feel like I can beat this offensive tackle going on the inside, and then Russell Wilson says, you know what, Maxx Crosby, you broke your assignment, and then I'm just going to run the ball outside, pick up 15 to 20 yards with my legs, right? So a lot of this stuff, it may seem like it's nothing. It may seem like it's simple, but there could be big problems if you do not do your assignment correctly. Now, let's go back to this one here, right? So this is again the 3-4, but this is now when we're doing our pass coverage. This is when we are in here trying to make sure that we weren't able to get all of our guys off the field. We weren't able to make all of our substitutions, right? We only got about 1 or 2 substitutions. We were only able to take off Cleveland. We were only able to take off one person, right? So we want to make sure that it still looks good. Abram, Cleveland, they got off the field in time. We were able to sub in Jayon Brown and Bilal Nichols. So the reason why you see a guy like Jayon Brown here playing that weak side linebacker role is pretty simple. Jayon Brown has had 2 successful years the last 2 seasons in that interior linebacker role, which is this middle linebacker spot, right? But if you go back to his best career year in the NFL, when he was ranked first on all coverage categories for linebackers, it was when Tennessee Titans allowed him to play that weak side linebacker role where he's not doing so much in the middle of the field, but he's locking down the section that he's in. So let's break this one down. As you can see, I have the subs here as well. You got Kyler Fackrell, Tashawn Bowers, Jonathan Abram, because we got him off the field, Micah Kiser, Cleveland Ferrell, Kyle Petco, Malcolm Kuntz. So they're all here, right? They're all here, but you got to be able to flow. You got to be able to go in and out, switch your defense, and this is what we did, right? We weren't able to get our whole 3-4 off the field, so we said, you know what? We're going to make some substitutions, and we're going to make it simple. So pretty easy. You got your 2 linebackers, Denzel Perryman and Divine Diablo here. They're hooked to curls. They have to get this section locked down. And shout out to my brother Graf in the chat. Shout out to you, my guy. But like I was saying, you got to have your 2 hook to curls going with these linebackers, making sure that these safeties up top will have enough space to work with behind them. So on the outside linebacker spot, you have to have Chandler Jones. He is going to be rushing. You have Bilal Nichols. He is going to be rushing. Same goes for Jonathan Hankins and Max Crosby. But as you can see, it looks a little bit different for Jayon Brown this time around, right? He's not in the nickel. He's not in the middle linebacker role. He's on that outside linebacker role. So now his job, when we are telling him to be in coverage, he has to go to the flats, or if a running back spills out to his side, he has to check the running back, either give him a chip or follow the running back into his zone. You have to make sure that these running backs like Austin Eckler that are in our division don't get a free catch in space. You have to make sure that your outside linebacker there is going to be able to cover all of that up, right? And Jayon Brown, in his best season in the NFL, when he was ranking amongst all the linebackers in the NFL in coverage, it was actually at this weak side linebacker spot. So something to look at, right? Pretty damn simple, right? You got your best rushers rushing. If you want, you could have moved Bilal Nichols here to where Jonathan Hankins is and threw Cleveland Ferrell in there. It's just what the defensive coordinator wants, right? I'm not sure that if you have so much time to do that while you're trying to just switch and make sure that your coverages are correct, that you'll be able to get all these guys off the field. But for whatever reason, if a team is running hurry up and you can't get all your guys off the field, it's pretty simple. Just take Abram off, take Cleveland off, and you're able to put 2 guys that are able to, rush the passer and coverage, be in coverage a little bit better than the other guys. Now, last but not least, this is what I feel like the Raiders should do if they were ever in a situation where, let's say they're playing the Indianapolis Colts, right? We're playing the Indianapolis Colts, and we want to make sure that we're good against the run, but when they decide to hit us with that play action, we can still get them. And the reason why I say this, if you take a look, you got 5 rushers. You got 5 rushers here. You got Malcolm Kuntz, Max Crosby, Jonathan Hankins, Bilal Nichols, and Chandler Jones. This group should get to the quarterback for sure. There's no reason, there's no excuse why these 5 guys against the Indianapolis Colts 5 guys, there's no reason why one shouldn't break free and get to that quarterback. So, as you can see here, this is an all-out pass rush. You're sending 5. Both of your linebackers are dropping back into a hook to curl. Or what you can do a couple things out of this. You can go into a cover 3, cover 4, or most likely you'll be in a cover 2 if you are to run this out of the 3-4 defense. So, your 2 outside linebackers, they're going to be rushing. That means that Max Crosby, Bilal Nichols, Jonathan Hankins, all on one-on-ones with their offensive linemen. You have to make sure that one of these guys gets free. As you can see, I have Jayon Brown and Divine Diablo, the 2 middle linebackers here, making sure that the pass coverage in the middle of the field is working just fine. I had to put Divine Diablo above Denzel Perryman here because if you're going to get all-out rush, you want to make sure that your pass coverage is key, right? You don't want to put Kuntz on a rush and then have Denzel Perryman manned up against Austin Ekeler, right? You don't want to do that. So in my opinion, having Kuntz, Chandler as your outside guys rushing, Max and Nichols as your edge rushers in the 3-4, and then you have Jonathan Hankins taking on that double team, right? So that's very, very important to see. But that is all of them. That is all of them. And for those of you guys who did just tune in, we got the base right here with our 3-4 when probably on first downs, right? First downs, this will probably be our defense. You want to make sure that first down, you can make sure that you're going to stop the run. This is what I feel like we'll look at when we're in our base, and then when we're in our nickel, that 4-2-5, we'll probably make sure that this is probably what it's going to look like, right? You have Nate Hobbs in the slot, your 2 linebackers doing hook to curls, 2 defensive ends containing, and making sure that your 2 defensive linemen in the middle of the park are taking care of business. Pass defense, this is what it'll look like in my opinion, and this is what our run defense will look like. Or sorry, this is what our all-out pass coverage, pass rush will look like as well. But that concludes that portion of that. You could also decide to take Hankins out, put Bilal Nichols at the nose, and then slide Cleveland Furrow as that 3-4 edge. You could do a lot of stuff. But I did just want to break that down with you guys live. I know we only had about like 90 or 100 of you guys because it was very, very quick, very, very sudden too. I only gave you guys like a 45-minute notice, but I wanted to break that down with you guys live. And if you guys are new and just found the channel, please hit that subscribe button. We are less than 90 subscribers away from 5,000 subscribers. So if you are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, comment in the comment section down below. But very, very quick live, Raider Nation. I am going to head out. Happy Easter weekend for all of you guys. I will most likely be live tomorrow as well at some point. So, love y'all, Raider Nation. But I am out, y'all. Peace.